everyone, welcome to the Cilia show. I am your host, Cilia. As you can see today, this is probably the most guests I've ever had on my show. We got Dec back, we got Clare back, and we've got two new guests here. We've got Kay, say hi, and then Kissy. All right, since we might have some new viewers and listeners, why don't we all just introduce ourselves again? So starting from Dec.
Okay, cool. So my name's Dexter. I'm a personal trainer for 20 years. Also done a bit of dating coaching, and I just really focused on men, helping men being men again.
Nice. Okay, my name is Claire. I'm an ex-secondary school teacher, online coach. My handle is @Claire_MysticalFit. And you'll see me on podcasts. You've probably seen me on previous episodes, but you'll see me again, I'm sure.
Hi, I'm Kissy. I have a 9-to-5 job that I'm not going to disclose the title of. And I'm also a dancer, so everything about like women empowerment and sensuality and tapping into your divine feminine, I'm all about that.
Mm-hmm. And you already know who I am, so I'm Cilia, the baddie, that's it.
Right. I'm Kevasha. I do 3D visual effects, anything digital, anything in 3 dimensions, that's what I like to do.
Okay, amazing. Right, guys, thank you so much for coming on. So this is actually part 2 of the episode that we spoke about alpha female, alpha male, all of that, masculinity and femininity, all of that kind of stuff. So I thought we didn't speak enough, so we came back here again. So to start this conversation, I'm going to read you something, because basically I put up a reel recently. So basically this is piggyback on, last time we spoke about having your women dressing sexy. Yeah, dressing sexy, and what you think about it, and twerking in the club. So I'm going to read basically, so I put a reel up the other day on my Instagram saying basically, a man, if you're dealing with a baddie, then the man should be okay with it, sort of thing, yeah? And then I put my response saying that, ladies, don't let no man tell you can't be sexy. And if the guy is going to want to tell you what to wear or whatever, that means he's insecure. Someone on that post, me and him had a back and forth. So I'm going to read it to you and then just let me know your thoughts. And he goes, I'm wondering what man told you this, that a confident man won't mind his girl dressing sexy and getting attention from men and women. That the guys who have told you to be sexiest, to feel proud next to you, aren't really invested, is kind of objectifying you. Whereas a guy who genuinely cares for you and values you wouldn't want you to broadcast yourself, coming from a man's perspective. That side of a woman is meant to be special and intimate. I said, but if he has issue with me being sexy, then I see that as a compatibility problem. Why can't you be sexy without being objectified? What I'm saying is no one should dim their light for anyone. That's what I'm saying. Man or woman. If a woman said to her man, I don't like you wearing this because I don't want girls looking at you, this is because it's coming from an insecure place. I would want my man to be looking sexy. It's natural for men to look at beautiful women because they are naturally drawn to the feminine essence. And same with women, they are naturally drawn to masculine essence. And it was also natural for men and women to appreciate beautiful people in general, period. And yes, it is a preference, but if you're going to tell your partner, don't wear this, then this is coming from a negative place. And I see it as a somewhat controlling behavior, which stems from insecurities. And so, yeah, thoughts?
It can be insecurity. It can be, but it's not necessarily just that. It could be many reasons. It could be depending on cultural reasons. That's another reason.
Religious reasons.
Religious reason, like you wouldn't wear to church something you wear to the club. So it depends on where you're at as well. Are you a dancer? Are you a performer? There's that's another criteria as well. I think the main thing is when a guy has a girl, the way he sees it, that girl's also, we're representing each other. So I've got to show my self-respect when I go out in the street and vice versa. So playing devil's advocate, the other question I've got to ask is, what is sexiness? Where is the blurred line between what is sexy and what is slutty? Because between sexy and slutty, we need to have we're all going to say something different.
So answer your question. So like, I agree, there's different types of sexiness. So I was saying to you, sexy but classy. Obviously not going to be like walking out, for example, where I know the short mini dress that we was talking about. Obviously,
you're talking about inches.
Yeah. But like, for example, like it was almost like showing my butt cheek. Personally, I would want to do that because I think that is also disrespecting my man. Do you know what I mean?
There you go. So some people wouldn't. Some people show off their butt cheek to the world, you know what I mean? And then say, what am I doing wrong? You know what I'm saying? So,
but that's me personally, I wouldn't, innit? But other women, no judgment, whatever, innit? So, but as long as I've believed that is, I'm not being sexy, but classy at the same time, and I'm respecting myself, I'm showing like, you know, I'm not trying to dress sexy to get the attention of other men, do you know what I mean? Then I think that's how it is.
I think it's also about like compatibility. So what you were talking about with the sexy and sluttiness, because that word is an interesting one. I think it depends what someone classes as sexy, what someone classes as going a little bit overboard. I'm going to assume the person that was commenting is assuming you're going to go out in a sheer top with your titties out. If we're talking, some men actually don't like a woman wearing a tight-fitting dress. Like that is enough for them to be like, whoa, this is too much. And then we're going to even get into body types. If you have big old tittle biggies, you can wear a top that I could wear and it's going to look a lot more like enticing and wonderful. Whereas me wearing that, it's not going to look maybe that sexy and cause that much of attention. So then it's like, it gets into, it will feel like you're nitpicking at your babe and controlling her, because it's like, this is how my body is. I want to wear a dress that flatters my figure, and you're saying I can't do that because other men are going to look at me and be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I think that's what you're getting at, which is if your girl is beautiful, then you should accept, actually, she's gonna look beautiful, men are gonna look at her, but you're the one that has her. So you should be happy. But then in terms of a man objectifying his woman, there are men that just want you as a trophy. So if they don't care that you're showing your big old ass off and all of that stuff, sometimes it's just like, they don't really see you that way. So I feel like there's a thin line. Like, I would expect my man to be like, yeah, do you, as a dancer, like, there's certain things that I'm gonna wear, and if you're not comfortable with that, we're not compatible, because you met me as a dancer. So I don't want you to now start saying, no, you can't wear dancer briefs.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear dancer briefs because I'm a dancer, and that's how you met me, so you need to accept that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of like nuances in this topic, and it needs to be about you and your partner or the person that you're getting to know. You guys need to have some real conversations about this area, in my opinion.
I agree. I think also there's a bit of a childish double standards, which is, let's just take a very basic scenario, right? The iconic sexual symbolized woman of music or fashion, right? Let's just choose Rihanna, for example, right? So let's just say your average man is idolizing over Rihanna, i.e. I want to be with Rihanna. But then what he's also saying is, once I have Rihanna, no one else is allowed to idolize over her, which is childish. You know what I mean? If you're gonna want someone who's idolized, let's just take that example, or someone, you want someone that everyone else wants. You have that now, and all of a sudden everyone's supposed to stop wanting. No. Now you need to know how to maintain. It's a whole new board game, and that kind of security comes with...
They should know the level what they're dealing with.
Yeah, it comes with a certain kind of cultivated personality who's a bit seasoned to kind of like manage that, and that some people may not even yearn for that because...
Well, piggybacking off that, some people don't even know, forget clout, some people don't even know how to handle certain level of women as well. So sometimes they want that, but when they get it, they can't handle it.
Fumble the bag.
They have insecurities because they're not used to that. So that's different as well. So some people, when they, especially if they're punching, when they do have a hot girl, their paras, but so it's like you've got that side as well, where someone who's kind of more used to it will be like, oh, calm, you know what I mean, depending on the situation.
There's that essence of like we said before, letting your woman not letting her be objectified. Firstly, you can't help it. There are men out there that are going to objectify with your woman. Regardless. It doesn't matter what you do, where you go, it's going to happen. So if you're going to try and change everyone, just stop. Like, but what you can do, what you can control, is, you know, the kind of the length at which she's going to maybe the clothing and these kind of things. That line is where you can kind of write, you know what, this is where we are. We're in, I don't know, we're in a bad place where we've got a whole bunch of horny men. Have to dial it back.
But the problem is the guys that actually met their girl like that and then
that's different. Listen, if you met her and she's this, what do you expect? Because
I've never met someone and 6 months down the line she just drew for a miniskirt out of nowhere. That miniskirt got drew on the 2nd date, 5th date, whatever date, you get me? You didn't come out of nowhere and all of a sudden like, rah, where did that come from?
See, I think
you see these things.
I think this is one of the reasons that I've been single for so long. So I've been single for about 6 years. And I think one of the reasons that I've been single for so long is that in my mind, 2 adults have the freedom to do whatever they want to do. And if that's the case, although the person is somewhat representing you, you need to take that person for who they are. And I think that this is one of the reasons that there are so many like issues within relationships. And why, for example, I've just recently done a security course, and one of the things that came up on the security course was this seasoned bouncer saying, "Oh, if you're ever at a club and there are couples in there, a fight's definitely gonna break out. So be prepared for that. A fight's gonna break out."
What?
But to me, a couple are 2 people that are fully secure, an adult.
That's in a perfect world.
And in a perfect world,
but we don't live in that perfect world.
And as a result, if even you went out with your girl or you went out with your man and they did something that you didn't like, it might not be something that you address then and there. It will be something that you go home behind closed doors, not in public. You're not screaming at your man. You're not slapping him. Yeah, you're not pushing off some girl because some girl started dancing with him and you 2 had a rule that he shouldn't touch no girl when you're out. And you go home and you say, "Babe, I'm really kind of a bit shocked and a bit surprised by what happened tonight, and not because we spoke about it or we didn't speak about it, but it kind of made me feel a bit like this and a bit like that," and you take it from there. But I feel like these are conversations that people are having because we live in a world where people feel entitled to the other person's behavior. You're not entitled to my behavior. How I behave is how I behave. If you don't like it, go and find somebody else.
Big
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
I think that trickles down to understanding, and I mean this metaphorically, who you're getting into bed with. Like, you can take it literally if you want safe, but generally, whoever you're about to share space with in that regard, I think is really important to really kind of understand the person, like, intrinsically. You know what I mean? The kind of personality traits.
What motivates them.
Yeah, but the sad thing is, right, it's like, it takes us all of these, I'm going to use another analogy, right, because I like analogies. But this process of kissing frogs to get to a prince. And it's not necessarily the kissing, but it's the trial and error. The falling over and, okay, do you know what, I realised. And it's a sad thing, but you don't really know for sure until you've fallen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like the weird irony in life.
I think also people don't talk anymore though. So like people aren't always like their most genuine, authentic self when they're first getting to know someone because they want to come across come across like amazing and wonderful and perfect for them. And that's why I feel like when I spent time getting to know people, I'm like me from the jump. So if you have I am. And that's the problem.
Say to the man, do you know what, man? I might fart in a minute.
No, I might fart.
Do you know what?
I don't fart.
Hold on, this is a really good topic. My friend's been married to her husband for 12 years and she never farts in front of him. My friend, she's been married to her husband for 12 years. She will run to the bathroom rather than sit down and fart in front of him while they're watching EastEnders. She'd be like, no, I gotta go to the bathroom, kind of thing. And they've been married for 12 years.
If we've been dating more than 12 days and you don't fart, I think that's weird.
So wait, you fart?
Not me, personally.
I don't like a girl farting in front of me.
It's not necessary.
But hold on,
that one is not necessary.
If I like you, like if I'm genuinely invested in you, like I'm not saying like I want to be invested in your farts, but like I'm happy to tolerate that. It's a natural. What are you supposed to not
natural?
Sweat or not?
If you let it seep out by accident, a man smelt it. That's different. If you're just letting one go like a balloon, that's long.
No, I prefer to let it go. I don't want you to be sneaky. You know what it is? Like it's watching a movie.
No, you know why?
And then she's blatantly not looking at me.
Tired.
You know, I've had that, and I stopped linking the chick.
100%.
No, because the thing is, I gotta look at my girl as sexy. If I start thinking she's just like a brer or something.
Hold on, wait. Hold on, say it again. No, wait, repeat that
I don't know
again.
why, but I don't bust in front of her.
Wait, repeat that again.
But then what if she stops looking at you as sexy because you're big, you're in the gym, but you thought, you know, I don't care how much he benches anymore.
No,
Can we bring it back away from the farts?
No, but she was laughing.
Fellas,
She was laughing.
Get away from the farts.
No, but
what I was trying to speak about, okay, because that I don't know. But what I mean is, for example, there are other undesirable traits, such as something that can be deemed as controlling. So, for example, when I meet a guy and he's like, I've got 20 female friends, seeing him on his social media, yeah, so-and-so with my sis, yeah, I'm with my girl, this. I'm like, I hate that shit. Cut it out. I don't, why does every girl in the land know you? I don't like that. So if I say that immediately, a lot of guys are like, wow, she seems a bit controlling. She seems like she's going to control my life. Oh, I can't deal with this. That's a turn off to a lot of guys. But I'm going to be my most authentic self when I meet you, because what's going to happen is if I pretend that that's okay, we get into a relationship, we're in love, and then I start seeing Bethleen and Kathy like, my boy, I'm going to be pissed. And at that point, I'm going to be like, and who the is this? And that's when you're going to be like, I thought you were cool with this. Like, what's going on? Do you get what I mean? So that's my point. Like, a lot of the time, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but you may be sitting there like, if a girl did say that to me on like, I don't know, month one, you'd be a bit turned off. And that's why a lot of girls...
I'd say the same thing, vice versa.
Okay, because a lot of girls will conceal certain things until they get even the ring. They'll go as far as the ring, and then, aha, now you're going to see the real me. You're going to see what I'm like. And then it's like, by that time, you're super invested, and that's where all the arguments begin. That's when you start realizing, is this the person I want to be with or not?
There are always telltale signs of characteristics. They're always, it's like, I'll be honest, if a man invested, say, like 5 years, let's say they're mad, 5 to 10, and then after the ring, she done a complete 180, I'd look at him with suspect. I'd be like, your eyes not, you were completely head over heels over her.
Okay.
Maybe I can't be so black and white, but it will be something to that effect.
No, that's
like, true. 10 years, bro. Like, and you what? Not once you didn't see like what the big black dreadlock man. Like,
nah, man, he was blinded by the curls. He was blinded by the cleavage. You know? He was blinded by them legs, them curls.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what? Like, kind of like slightly off topic, but it's still related to being a true authentic self. I feel that ever since, I believe anyway, ever since I've become more my true authentic self,
what do you mean by your true authentic?
As in just being like, just being me, not like trying to be like, like
prim and proper.
Yeah.
Put on a performance.
Yeah. Just being me, like how like for example how I'm with you, like things like that. Like you see me as I am with my girl, sort of thing like that. It's almost like I'm attracting more quality men and people who are actually more like more aligned with me.
Yeah.
And if anything, and I don't even need to put the extra effort. They just like who I am, and not being big-headed or anything. But I've had guys like this. I don't want to say obsessed, but like even I said I'm interested, they will still exactly. I'm actually not interested, but that's when I find like when I really am myself around these guys, they're more like trying to like. I still have guys still like messaging me like, oh, I miss you aura, like I just like think you're this and this. I'm just like, I'm actually not interested. I'm not even playing hard to get like that. So yeah, so I feel like when you're being yourself, people see your actual quality, your true qualities. Yeah. You don't even
draw those kind of people to you. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like your second point was a different point though, because we all know that there's something weird about human behavior where if someone doesn't
say
want
no,
you,
the more they want you,
it's like I need that. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's something Cilia and I talk about a lot. I think that's people operating from their shadow self. So it's people operating from that darker part of themselves where they're listening to the thing that they know they shouldn't be listening to. Right? So somebody doesn't want you. Somebody is completely unavailable, but that is drawing you in.
Yeah,
you need to ask yourself where that comes from.
That's also like abandonment.
There's a saying that goes, scarcity causes attraction. So
what did you say was scarcity?
Causes attraction. So like think about, there's been a time where we've all been there where someone is probably on the verge of finishing, and then you might not even be into the person like that, but because it's abrupt and it's finished, you start chasing a little bit more. I'm not saying that's right, I'm saying we've all been there. So like that scarcity is like, oh shit, now you're trying to save shit. You see what I'm saying? Whereas that's where the and you might not even meet in a person like that, but the scarcity, as I said, it kind of
no, you know, it's actually funny. It's a conspiracy, because that's even a business model: supply and demand. Take Supreme. They literally creating a scarce amount and shooting up the demand. So like it's actually so transferable. And what I think about it,
During COVID, a lot of people started up their businesses during COVID just because they saw that, oh, okay, no one can go out. I'm gonna start selling birthday stuff. Because everyone's doing their birthdays at home in the garden. one guy I know, my landlord's friend, he's got a big warehouse now. So he started selling birthday party, you know, like decoration stuff during COVID, and it's become so huge that now he's on Amazon and he's had to basically rent out a warehouse so that he can have all his supplies and all his stock in it. And that's just off the back of COVID. So
yeah. Right, I'm going to change the topic slightly. So Dec, you said something about you came up with primary and secondary attraction. What does that mean?
Okay, so because obviously how men and women see attraction is different. So men tend to be more visual, whereas women tend to be more complex. It can be visual as well, not taking that away, but they have more complex. Their secondary traits tie in straight away, whereas secondary traits for us can be a little bit further down the line. So for us, primary traits for most men being visual is the way you look. But the secondary traits are the things like your personality, your caring, your affectionate. I could go on, the list goes on. So whereas I think one of the questions I wanted to ask was how important is actually, what are the secondary traits? Actually, what is your primary traits? If I was to ask just the ladies,
so
what is the first thing you see about a guy?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, the physical does matter, of course, because that's the first thing that catches your attention.
Right.
But then
What was that?
So like, okay,
delete.
no, it was not going to be deleted. So, okay, so the old me, because he's going to sound so shallow. Okay, the old me would have been obviously the looks and then the height.
okay.
Back then you have to be like, oh,
That's a fair.
yeah, so
I'm not calling that shallow.
okay, yeah, so like something that's tall, I'll be like, oh, actually that would attract me. Oh, okay, but now me now, I don't really care about the height. It doesn't really bother me as much. But definitely the look, primarily is the look, but also the way you present yourself, as in like how you dress, and it says a lot about you as a person. So for example, okay, I know it doesn't represent everyone, but let's say if someone goes to gym and they've got physique, okay? Like really proper, like lean and things like that. It says a lot about them as a person.
The discipline.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, like that. Because it just goes to show, because I'm all about like taking care of self-love and all of that. And if they I can see that they committed like every day they go to gym and they know what they're doing. It takes some sort of intelligence for them to get that body. Do you get me? So it's definitely like it talks about you know what they are as a person, how the way they think and discipline. So yeah, these are the primary ways, and hygiene. Oh my God, if I look at you, hygiene.
So primary, I would say looks. So in terms of the first thing I see, you know, I like a beard.
Same.
I actually really like black men with hair. Call me. But yeah, so I do love height as well. But I would say face card for me, if your face is giving, somewhat I can let go of the height. So again, we're talking aesthetics.
Yeah.
Give and take.
Yes, I like looks that attract me. Everyone else can be like, your man isn't cute. I will stand my man. If I find him attractive, that's mine. I'm gonna stick beside him. Yeah. Secondary, characteristic wise, I don't like men that are loose. So like I said, everybody in the land knows you. That's a no from me. If you're super accessible to the whole world.
Yeah.
Yuck. Resilience. I've been through a lot in my life and like it doesn't show. I'm smart, like I'm intelligent, I keep things going, like I'm a go-getter. So when I meet a man that's very much so like, oh, why does life keep happening to me? What am I gonna do?
Negative vibes.
I don't know what to do with my life. I'm just like, this is not it for me. Like, don't get me wrong, I have been a build-a-bear and I have been a, you know, let me help you out, boo, I got you. But then when it gets to the point where it's still like you're still not doing for yourself, it's a no for me. So actually, masculine energy, which is what we're here to talk about. So
exactly
it's actually the masculine energy is the doing, as opposed to like me being in the masculine energy while you're just being, which is mines. Okay, we can do a bit of that, but I'm gonna need to see you have your masculine energy, be a doer, provide, protect, do what you're supposed to do. And I'll have your back. Obviously, I'm your baby, but I can't have you being lazy, not resilient, or woe is me type of man, and accessible and being out here. It's a no from me.
So is that a secondary trait or primary trait?
That for
That's
me was
secondary.
Secondary, okay.
For yourself.
I think primary definitely like eyes. So it's not so much looks as it is eyes for me, because I need to be able to engage with you. And the other two things would be like physique, but I don't mind you not having abs, but you can't have a gut, because that tells me that you don't respect yourself and you don't care about yourself.
That is so black and white. Like, what if you got a good job? What if he's like a big philanthropist to like all religious communities, but you got a gut?
Is wealth. So you can have all the philanthropy in the world. If you're gonna die at 60, that ain't gonna help me.
Well, one could have like all the blindness foundations, the cancer foundations.
No.
You got a gut.
Just be healthy. That's what's important for me. And the last one for me is that I can see that you present as adult, and that's a really important one for me. And what I mean by that is, you get a lot of men out here who are very immature. So they go to the gym and they're standing in the gym and you can tell they're performing. They get there.
That's right, yeah, man.
They don't know who's looking, but they know that someone's looking, so they got to perform. For me, I'm looking for a man who doesn't care what's going on around him.
Yes.
Because he's focused.
Just
that tells me that you're an adult. You're mature enough to be adult in every way.
Same, that's just similar to what you just said about I don't want a man also don't like a man that knows everyone, that keeps to himself. Like, don't get me wrong, humble, he gets along with everyone, most people, but he won't be like out there trying to, you know, there's some guys who walks in the gym like trying to make a scene, make sure that everyone knows that he's there. I cannot stand those kind of guys, yeah. So like a guy who keeps to himself, but
Boundaries.
And he naturally draws attention. He's not looking for it.
Yeah,
It's natural.
it's that mysteriousness,
Calm,
you know, yeah.
charming, chill. Yeah.
Okay. So, bearing in mind those secondary traits,
Okay.
because they're normally the important ones, right?
Yeah.
Secondary traits. You have the immediate attraction and then the things that.
Yeah, because you could be so good looking, like you said, so good looking, and if you don't have the personality, you're just trash, dry, yeah, like just.
So, would you come down in primary attraction if the second attraction is booming?
That same person? Yeah.
You could.
Yeah. Well, sorry, let me just compare.
with this.
So, for example, yeah, kind of yes, because if I connect with that person.
You're trapping us, aren't you?
Because the guy, for example, let's like, for example, like the guy might not be necessarily tall, okay, same height as me, but the more I got to know him, we start to connect. Everything, like, we're on the same frequency, we have the same, like, we have same interests, things like that. And he actually a humble person. He's masculine. I know he can. He has got me, whatever. Even if it's a friend, whether he's not my partner, or as a friend, like he just has my back. He's loyal as a person. All of that, basically, that secondary trait is yes. Then the primary trait can come down. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yourself.
Attraction is very important for me. I think you have to be real. Like, a lot of people will date, for example, they'll see a good girl, whatever that means for people. Like, it's not usually my type, she's not usually that, but she's a wife, she's wifey. But then they're not going to be entirely satisfied. I've seen it happen. Like, they're not entirely satisfied because they're looking for big booty Judy or whatever they usually like. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I'm not going to skew too far away from what I like. So that's the thing. If it's like, for example, I really love black men, I'm not going to date outside of my race, particularly because, like, I just love my black men. So even if he had the personality that I'm looking for, we probably wouldn't get that far because that's just not there initially, that initial attraction. But yeah, again, if we're talking height, I've dated a couple short guys. Do you know what I mean? Because I like.
You gotta show the short king's love, innit?
How tall are you?
How tall am I? I'm 5'4.5", but I'm 5'5". How nice.
So when you said short, what is short?
5'9".
Okay.
5'9". 5'10" is a bit short as well. 5'11". I like 6'2" and above. I was gonna say 6'3". I prefer that. But obviously, like, 5'10", cool. Like, but 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", that's quite short. However, if you have a beautiful personality, we're connecting, we're vibing. Yeah, and I find you attractive. I have to find something about you attractive, and then we can move forward from there. But what you don't want to do is date someone that you're not very attracted to, because then the secondary, what did you say, secondary traits, attraction becomes so important. So for example, if one day, like, he slips on something or he's not as consistent as he was, you're going to go to, and your belly's big, mate, in your mind. You're going to be thinking, oh, this guy, he's not even that cute, man. that's terrible. Like, and that's how people mistreat people, because it's like, you knew what you wanted, you knew what you were looking for. It's even on Love is Blind, Marshall and Jackie. She kept saying, I don't know if you guys watch it, she kept saying he's the guy that I need. But when she saw him, she didn't find him attractive. So anytime that he did something she didn't like, she was irked. And she's mistreating him because she knew from jump she can't get over that physical attraction. And I think it's really wrong to do that to someone, because it's like, oh, I'm doing it because he's a good guy. But can you love him the way he deserves to be loved?
Come to something after. Yeah.
I want to.
So
you said something.
Okay, go on.
We said something about need. I need him. We said something about needing people.
Need and wants.
Okay, how about you start? Because we had a good conversation.
Do not need people.
that's it. I completely agree with you.
Don't need people. Do not need lovers. I see things from a Stoic point of view, right? To live, or like as a Stoic person would say, a virtuistic life, life in accordance with nature, and where you can adhere to all the necessary rules of life and still find peace and happiness. Don't need nobody. So the moment you need your partner, you just create so many problems. That sense of dependency, expectations. Like, I even go as far as to say you shouldn't really even expect to have great parents, because that's not given to you in life. It's a indoctrination and a programming because of certain traditions where they have been great fathers. Who says that you deserve a great father when you're born? Who says that he will be?
Is it the case that we don't need anyone because we live in an entitled society?
No, it's not even that. It's simpler than that.
Because if we lived in the wild, back in the days,
yeah,
people were more interdependent because they needed each other. They needed to survive and get through life.
There's that sense of tribalism where we live as a community, which goes to like the whole hunter-gatherer, the this, the that whole sense of being wanted.
Yeah.
That is always obviously like a primordial essence
you're right.
of humans.
No one needs each other because we're self-sufficient.
But with the perfect minds in two perfect people, male and female, they would be serving each other because they want to, and they can no longer do any more for themselves.
But I think back in the day, even from 60s and things like that, people needed each other.
What do you mean by need?
Okay, so I think you're both using the word in a different way. So number one, Kay said something about nature. So when you said that, so straight away I'm thinking about, like, let's say a tree, right? So you got a tree, the tree grows, couple branches grow out the tree. You cut one of the branches and you put that cutting in the ground, it will grow, right? So that branch didn't need that tree for it to continue living, for it to survive and for it to kind of thrive, yeah? But at the same time, if no one cut it, that branch would stay on that tree and it would grow. Do you get what I mean? So that's what I think Kay's coming from, yeah? The kind of that stoic angle.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you're saying that, like, human beings have and always will be interdependent. We need that community, right? But I think when we're talking about the context of love, I think it's different from needing the community. Do you get what I mean? Because I think that what we've done with love is we've begun to skew it. So rather than it being this universal thing, which is something that comes and goes, you know, you could be with someone, it didn't work out. You know, I take my grandma, for example, she married 3 times. She had 2 kids with each husband, right? And in those days, that would have been considered quite terrible, you know? But my grandma did what sat well with her. Do you get me? And in the end, she had 6 kids and they all loved her and they all said, oh, you know, we all love our mum and whatever. And they've all got very fond memories. My aunts and uncles have all got very fond memories of their mum, even though she was literally in 3 different family homes growing up. Do you know what I mean? But I think there's a difference between what there is now, which is like, I don't know, like, let's say my man empties the bins. So Tutu's my man goes on holiday to Thailand for 2 weeks. The bin ain't getting touched, kind of thing. Do you see what I mean? And that's a different kind of need, because that's where it becomes actually you're codependent and not interdependent. And codependency is very unhealthy and very
You can't fill up a cup. If you both have 2 cups, right, and your cup's not 100, not full to the brim, you can't go around trying to fill up another cup and your cup's all there's no, and furthermore, don't even look at that cup. Don't even seek a cup until your cup is full. Your whole priority is wrong.
Of course.
Do you know what I'm saying? Don't even, it's not even a shout. So don't need
something different.
And talking about like love and need, like, I would say to people that you don't need love from the outside. You you can want the love. This is I believe you don't need other people's love. You need, first of all, you need to work on your self-love first. Love yourself first. And once you love when you love yourself, that love will come to you, and that love from outside will be naturally drawn to you because they can see that you love yourself and like that. And also, the love from outside will also basically help you. If you want that love, basically will help you expand that love, if that makes sense. So you don't need that love to be satisfied.
I would say I disagree with that statement, only because I feel like these days it's being pushed that you don't need love, romantic love. You have self-love. You can fulfill yourself. And I feel like that's quite dangerous to say, because at the end of the day, we're human beings. We desire companionship. I think what you're talking about
That's
in
the
terms
key
of
word there. That's
desire. Yeah, of
it's
course.
a want, not need. That's the line.
I see what you were saying. So for me, when you say you don't need anyone, I feel like you're talking about that unhealthy codependency, as you were speaking about. Of course, when people get into that realm of things, that isn't right. But I feel like when you go completely the opposite direction, which is I don't need anyone, I feel like that is what perpetuates that thing of like in society where you're like, I don't need this person, on to the next, like you miss one, next bus coming, like all of that. I feel like that's
corruption.
where it
That's
gets.
a bit of a perverted way of I don't need how things are used perverted, like but yeah, it's like the mutated essence.
Exactly.
Of I didn't. It's not even. It shouldn't even be I don't need this. I shouldn't need.
Yeah.
That's the healthy way. I shouldn't need, and I should want, because I can afford to give and afford to receive.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like those two extreme ends, and that's why balance is everything, because it's like you can be right in the middle. So knowing what you desire, knowing what your expectations are and things of that nature, but also knowing that you can give that to yourself. You can fill your own cup, and then having someone else adding more to you is just like a bonus. That's beautiful, but I can still desire that too and not be ashamed to want that, because I really feel like these days self-love is being pushed onto particularly women so much, where it's like, oh, why do you need a man or want a man?
This comes down to them making them so masculine. That's what's making them so masculine.
Because this is my understanding of self-love, right? My understanding of self-love is you look within and you understand that there are areas of yourself that need to be worked on and healed. So for some people it's mother wounds, some people have separation anxiety, some people have attachment issues,
abandonment, all of it. All of
so
it.
you work on those things until you're at a place where you're like, cool, I can do me. And then
I'm ready
that's
to
when
give
I feel
and
like,
receive.
as you're saying, that's when you start to attract the type of love that you want. You know, but I think there's lots of people who don't work on those areas of themselves, and then they get into a relationship and then they wonder why things are going wrong, or they're constantly, and this is where I feel sorry for men, I feel like they're perpetually getting upset with men. So then they're using certain techniques, like let's say manipulation or coercion, to get what they want, instead of just working on themselves first. And that's where I think that the problem lies in today's society. You know, and I'm not saying that men aren't doing it as well, right? So let me make that clear. I do think that men still manipulate. I think men coerce. You know, I think it still exists on both sides.
I know all of there's best stories of too many Jamaican men coercing women to do things, and green card, and you know what I mean.
So it's both sides, but I kind of agree and disagree with you, Kissy, in that like self-love is key, but self-love I think is plugged in social media as like, you know, just as long as you can sit in your own company and read a book, as long as you can meditate, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Whereas we're not actually addressing the deeper issues. Like, if your man calls you and says like, I can't come round tonight, and then you're sulking about it, why are you really sulking?
Like,
Like,
triggered something.
you know what I mean? Like, why can't you be okay with it in that moment, sort of thing? And why does it then have to be an argument that continues for 3-4 days, when actually it could just be like, okay, babe, I get it, you're busy tonight, we'll do something another day. You know?
But that goes back to grazing the abandonment wounds that, like I mentioned earlier, because it's like you see it as a bigger deal than it is. So your childhood issues that you may have had, your mum abandoning you, your dad abandoning you, your partner is abandoning you in that moment because you haven't like done the work. It's not easy because the work never ends. So actually sometimes even in that moment, if you're able to take a breath and be like, my partner isn't abandoning me, and also your partner, if you guys have gotten to know each other in the most beautiful, genuine way, I would also hope that I'm able to detect when I'm triggering my person's abandonment wounds, and I'll be like, it's just for today, baby. Do you know what I mean? It's just for today.
Offer that reassurance.
Is that okay? And then he himself, I would expect him to be like, yeah, okay, I feel calm now, it's all good, and he's able to calm himself down as well. But a lot of the time, people aren't aware like that. We don't have a lot of conscious, healthy relationships these days at all. And that's why it's really difficult also to find someone when you are, from what I'm feeling in this room, when you are quite healthy, self-aware and conscious, it's very hard to meet someone like yourself.
That's why I was going with the primary traits, because we put too much stock into the primary traits and we neglect the secondary traits. That's kind of where I was going to go with it. So that's why I was asking, how much give is there? Because we've all got standards, and you know, but if I hold every girl that I've been up with to the highest standard, and then that's it, anybody that I date after that has to be that level and above. When so many people have different things to offer, don't get me wrong, there has to be a minimum attraction. There has to be a minimum. For me, it's all about minimum level of attraction. So Kevin Samuel's time. If I RIP, like I could go out with a 9, but I can also go out with a 7. If that 7 offers me more, that's where I'm going. Yeah. But that's what's presentable to me. So as long as it's you go out with who you want. Everyone's got their niche or they like. My friend's a PT. He likes bigger women. That's his thing. So it's subjective to you. It's not about society. But another reason why I was asking about that trait, I don't know if you guys saw Tyrese when he had his girls standing behind him. Did anybody see that?
I saw that.
What's that?
Wait, say more. There's been so many Tyrese videos.
So
It's true.
So basically, he was saying he was just about going to go into on live, IG live, on how they met, and then she cut in and she was like, well, you know, I liked Paul Walker first, and his eyes just went, what? He just said, I can't believe you said that.
Oh my!
I can't. And she said it, and she kept going and digging herself a hole. I was actually going to send you the video so you guys could watch it. But he kept digging a hole, and this is the problem. So there's another thing I want to talk about, which is the initial attraction that someone has, because sometimes people put up with somebody. So if someone hasn't got that full-on high attraction, okay, I got a medium attraction, that's her case. What comes to light at the end of the day is things like that. So I do believe that you can raise attraction, but if it stays at that medium level, it's not going anywhere. And that's why Tyrese is always dating another girl and he can never figure it out.
And the two things that came to me there was time and age. Because with age, I think sometimes you put the secondary attraction first. Yeah. So with age, you kind of go, actually, it's not important that they're on a 10 anymore. I'm okay with them being on a 5 or 6. You know?
You find that with men as well. It's like, a lot of guys, when I meet them and they're ready to settle down, they're like, I've done that, I've run around, I've been with baddies, So it's like you're looking for something else. And I encourage women to feel like that too. Like with me, like I'm looking for something more. I'm looking for something that I desire long term. So I'm like, oh yeah, I've had the 6'4s, I've had the abs, like that was fun. However, like what more can you offer me? And obviously I feel like that's sort of what this episode is about in terms of masculine energy and feminine energy, like, because that's a big thing. And I feel like people don't pay attention enough to that, because a lot of guys that I've met, a lot of guys are in their feminine energy these days, and it's quite concerning.
That's why I started my thing.
And it's so easy for me to sit in masculine energy because, you know, I'm single, I live by myself, I have a good job, I take care of myself. I'm in masculine energy because I have to
men are in their feminine energy. How do you mean?
They lay back. They want to be pursued.
They want to be mothered.
They want to be mothered. They want women to participate in Are You Wifey Olympics. All of these things. Yeah, they're very emotional.
Extremely emotional.
You know, it's.
You talk about like trials and hurdles that they're gonna set for you so that you can.
Yeah, can you cook?
Yeah, to know if you're up to this.
That's it.
Are you a freak in the sheets, but a lady in the streets?
Yeah.
All of that.
And then it's a case of. But then I don't want a woman. But then I don't want a woman to test me. I don't want a woman to test me. But I want to know if she can cook.
But that's why I said Olympics. I'm okay with like you assessing our compatibility. But when it becomes Are You Wifey Olympics, that's where I have a problem with it, because you guys are laid back a lot. A lot of men are doing what do you bring to the table within 5 minutes of speaking, and I think that's because a lot of people are assuming all women think they need to bring to the table is. Hi. Do you get what I mean? And so when you meet a woman that actually isn't like that, because I know that there will be some women like that, but when you meet a me or these two wonderful ladies, you know, I am happy to cater to you. I'm a rider. I got my own shit going on. So when you start doing up immediately, what do you bring to the table? I'm thinking, can you just calm down? And at the end of the day, I do believe in like the traditional a man pursues.
Yeah.
So when we start getting into I'm doing Olympics to demonstrate how much of a great woman I am to you, we're not going to do that. And I'm not going to say I've never done that in my younger years. I have, but I've realized, and I've realized now, I'm sorry, I want to be pursued. You're going to see what I bring to the table. It's coming, boo. But in those initial stages,
you don't need it, man, coming at you like that.
No.
But yeah, I think when guys say things like that, they're read it out of textbook. It's like when I go on a date, on a first date, what's your 5-year plan? You read that for me, you know what I mean?
5-year plan.
Not saying I don't have one. I'm just saying like,
on the first date,
yeah,
really?
Yeah. Like you just read that somewhere and someone told you that. And you
It's a good thing to ask. Start with that.
But you see, this comes back to you know, my tree analogy, in the sense that these things take time to learn about somebody, but a lot of people don't want to put in the time, and that's to do with, again, the fact that everything in society is about instant gratification now. If I want food, I can go on Uber Eats. Yeah. If I want a top, I can buy it on Pretty Little Thing and it'll be with me in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah, so everything's instant. So why am I gonna wait
It's a good metaphor.
months
Yeah.
to try and learn or understand someone? Why am I gonna do that when I can just swipe right and meet someone else tomorrow?
But
You know?
that's true.
But what you said about most guys, that's how, I can't speak for other guys, but that's how I feel about most women. Now, before I say anything, I think the reason why you see a lot of relationship talk lately is because we feel like we're at some kind of pandemic at the moment,
With
where
relationships.
men see problems with women and women see problems with men. That's why it's good to have these discussions. What I try not to do is be like, yeah, you're this, you're that, which I see a lot of. I get it, we can have those discussions, but I also look to, for me, I think a lot of it starts from the man. A lot of it.
How do you mean?
So I'm not talking about men, I'm talking about waste men. So I'm talking about simps. Simps, because simps let things slide, and then from there the whole world's gone crazy. So I think what you said about most men, a lot of men I feel are either beta male or they're simps, and you can be both. So a simp could be a beta or alpha.
Or the incel as well. Don't forget this new
And the
new
incels.
category of man as well.
Where they just
What's
gave
it
up
called?
altogether.
Incel.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's like the inverse. It's like the retrograde misogynist, which again is probably
Nah, basically they're done with women.
yeah, they're done. They're not like potentially. They're not hating on women, but they're rejecting.
So it's like feminist, extreme feminist.
Nah, it's like
it's worse.
you remember the boys in like primary school when it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you got a girlfriend, and they be like, ew, I don't have a girlfriend.
yeah.
Like imagine they're staying mentally like that up to like 20,
Yeah,
and they're playing like World
because
of
a lot of them are
Warcraft in their room.
a lot of them are touch starved, and they're also they're basically starved of any kind of female interaction.
Yeah.
And then they'll have one negative experience with a girl,
And that's
then
it.
Yeah,
They're
No,
done.
but the thing is, you see a lot of guys complaining about women. Like you see it online now. It's a big thing now.
yeah.
Not to say they're wrong or they haven't got good points. I'm not going to say that, because I agree with some of their points. But some, I could tell that they weren't in the field like that. I can just tell. So basically, they're either reading it from somewhere else. Because I know you guys know about red pill, for example. And I think there's two. You guys are familiar with that? Red pill?
What's that?
There's basically guys that feel like they understand female nature. So women are hypergamous, women are this, women are that, X, Y, Z. Now, you get a lot of people. So if you've heard,
Well, like a hitch, like an online hitch, basically.
nah, what's that guy? What's the Fresh and Fit, for example? Do you know about them? Oh, I'm going too far, boy.
What's this?
So basically, red pill. I urge you guys to look it up. Like red pill, purple pill, black pill.
Okay.
Is that a platform?
So blue pill is basically beta. Red pill is basically alpha.
Oh, these are like some type of like
But red pill-
social class. Some like
Nah, this with dating, and red pill
Oh, dating
tends
social
to be
class,
more
yeah.
woke, and they feel like they understand women. Now,
I've seen.
but there's two for me, because a lot of it is regurgitated. For me, some people talk about girls from a perspective of being unsuccessful. I can't rate that. Whereas some guys talk about women from a point of being successful, but they're saying, guys, this is how it is out here, you know. And those guys I'll pay little attention to, and it's back disarming the difference between both of them. So when I hear certain people like it, loving or hating, I can listen to Kevin and go, this guy knows. You know what I mean? he knows. Whether you don't have to agree with him, he knows. There's certain people that's been in the field. So a lot of these guys that are complaining about women, I'm sorry, nothing's changed since the beginning of time. If you've got no swag, if you've got nothing about you, you're not gonna get a girl. Like a lot of people think that, okay, I've made myself something now, where's my woman? And women are bad. And I'm saying, hold on a minute, women have always liked man with swag, man that's got a bit
solid.
about them, and everything
That's
else.
solid.
If you haven't got anything to bring to the table, then you're not ready for this game. You need to work on yourself, and that's where the self-improvement comes from. And if you're not willing to self-improve, then you don't deserve a girl. I'm just being real.
But can we also get into the entitlement that good men have in terms of, I'm a good man, why doesn't she want me? Because just going off of the point where you said, essentially, like, you know, if you've got swag and like people are like, I've made something of myself, I feel like, again, it's always the extremes. So it's like a good man that approaches you, it's like, yeah, you should want me automatically because I'm a good man. I'm not like all these other clowns.
I drive this car
out here.
I've got 2 houses.
I don't cheat. It's the standard, like you shouldn't.
I've actually dated men who, when they, after a couple of days, when they get rejected, just because they told me they got 2 properties, or they told me, or they took me to John Lewis for lunch, okay.
Can you do that thing?
Yeah, there's a little like restaurant at the top, So he took me to this restaurant and he showed me his properties and told me he was a landlord, and we went on 2 dates. And after that I said to him, like, no disrespect, I tried. He was shorter than me, white. Not that I'm against, you know, dating Caucasian, but it's not my preference. It's not my first.
You tried to sing.
Right? So I tried. I don't like you. So I messaged him. I said, listen, I'm not really feeling it like that. Yeah. The guy just went mad.
Yeah,
He
it's
went
that
mad, and that's what I'm saying.
entitlement.
So you expect that because you've got properties, because you took me out to lunch, because basically you're showing me that you're so financially secure,
Which is
that means
great,
I will
but-
instantly like you. Like you don't have to do anything else.
He needs to go back to the bushes. Go find one of them.
I've had someone
I'll back
jangle
home.
their car keys like in front of me when they're approaching me, like, hey, how you doing?
Really?
How is that impressive?
But I think it's because there's a majority of women now. Because I spoke to a guy and he said to me, you to find your guy or to find your woman, you've just both got to know what's important to you. If you share the same values, then you'll get together.
100%.
So he's like, listen, my wife, she likes a Birkin bag. She likes to go out and look pretty, but she knows that when she goes out and somebody moves to her, she's gonna say, I've got a husband. She knows that. But you know, these are the things she likes. I'm taking her to Dominican Republic in 2 weeks. That's what she likes. That's what he likes. You know, he likes being that baller, providing for her, showing her off here and there. That's what he likes.
Sometimes tricking works on people. So I always say, even
Well, like American tricking, like hoeing.
no, like guys that are tricking. So when you see guys, like you say, dangle their keys, I've never done that. I've never once in my car when I was driving, ever, not even once, beeped at a girl. Never.
Have
never
you?
catcalled once.
That's wild.
I've never done it. But then people will say, oh yeah, but there's always, it's a numbers game, but there is women
a girl
that fall
that
for
would
that.
definitely-
Of course.
So like the jangling the keys
Yeah.
and
That's true.
that might 99 women might have been like, it's just wasted.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be that one.
One.
You know what I mean?
And I don't fault people for certain things like that. It's just sometimes it's a hit and miss, isn't it? So I'm the wrong babe to do that with. But I remember I was telling another guy about it, and he was like, oh, did he know, this is very stereotypical and terrible. He's like, oh, did he know you were Nigerian? And I was like, oh yeah, like we were talking. And he's like, yeah. So he's like, yeah, a lot of Nigerian women. It's like, that's a very terrible stereotype, right? Stop laughing too hard.
No, but
You're
you know
laughing
what,
too hard over
it's
there.
not even, some stereotypes, are backed up by something called statistics,
What statistic?
That's all I'm saying.
Experience,
That's
yeah.
it.
I'm not saying that that's completely off. I mean, I think you could get women from any like ethnicity or culture. But I'm half and half. Best of both worlds. No Hannah Montana. But yeah, so I do get that. But obviously, again, I'm the wrong babe to do that with. However, I'm not gonna want someone who doesn't have certain things in place. I'm not gonna want someone who is doing up, let's go Dutch on the first, second, third, fourth date.
Oh, can I just quickly ask? Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
I forgot to ask. That's a big question. Who pays first on the first date? Who pays on the first date?
We already know
I pay on 90% of the dates.
And I can tell.
Is that
I can
true as
tell.
well?
Because the 10% is like when it could be whatever day and she says, you know what, I'm going to treat
Take you out, yeah.
and it's on her. Or she makes a suggestion, I want to go here. Then I'm saying, oh, you're taking me out, yeah? But then if it's on me, I'm paying.
I ain't gonna lie,
And straight away, that keeps you in your masculinity, views you as
100%.
such.
Keeps you on
And
your toes as a man,
I'm not
yeah.
arguing with no
100%.
one about that.
100%.
That's
Yeah.
just straight.
I agree.
Yeah.
So what do you think of guys who goes like, let's say you go on a date, you're just dating, right? Just still dating stage, and then the guy goes, oh, if the woman want to pay for it, as in like he obviously suggested it, but then he's like, if the woman want to pay for it, I'm more than happy for her to take.
I don't even do that with lady acquaintances. I just don't get down like that.
The only way
I'll go on a lunch break.
I don't want her to. The only way she's gonna pay for it is she's gonna have to be very dominant about it. She's gonna have to be very smart.
Okay.
Like, because I'm gonna go up to the thing, I'm gonna pay for it. The only way she's paying for it is if she's like, I'm going to the toilet and come back.
Okay,
and she's paid for it.
Okay.
Yeah, that means she's really really trying to make that. That's the only way.
You can get a round, or let me get this one round, or something like that. But no, I don't play that.
100%.
When they say put your things away, man.
Yeah.
What if she goes, okay, let's go half? What about if she goes half?
Huh?
What if she say, let's go half?
Don't disrespect.
Yeah,
me.
just
Card
Okay, so you find it disrespectful?
No, I say it as a joke, but
Okay.
don't disrespect, man. Card on the table.
Yeah,
Okay.
realistically, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not taking no girl out if I can't secure the date.
What if she doesn't even offer to go half?
Why would I?
I do like the offer.
Okay.
I do like the offer because
Okay.
it shows a lot
Why?
about their character.
Yeah.
On the first date?
But no, it's not the be all and end all. I'll watch for it. So if I'm going on, if it's 10th date down the line, I'm like, right, it wouldn't get to that stage anyway.
Yeah.
But for example,
She's still
like,
taking
right,
the
she ain't even offered or nothing.
Yeah, that's different.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
different.
That's
But,
different.
like, no, I'm not hard. It's either all in or nothing. Like, especially if I say, oh, have you ever had this kind of food before? Oh yeah, cool. Let's go have that. But I cannot suggest we're going out and then you pulling out your. I opened my mouth and spoke it into
Thank
existence.
you.
But
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm
Yeah.
like that with the man them. If I invite the man them somewhere, if we're going somewhere,
I ain't paying for them.
No, I would. If I'm going to a football match, and I say, listen, and come, because my boys would do the same. So
Hey, can I be your friend, fam?
exchange numbers.
Yeah,
no, but sometimes I might go somewhere that might be pricey, and I don't expect them to put themselves in that situation. I'll be like, yeah, I got you.
and a dedicated invite, like if it's
But I'm
dedicated,
talking about my boys. I'm not talking about any old guy. I'm
like,
talking about
the
my
five. That kind of thing.
my.
Come on, man. There's no amount of money you wouldn't pay for your
There you
five,
go.
innit?
There you
I
go.
heard that. I heard
There you
that. I
go.
heard that.
Okay, so I'm going to change the subject slightly. What do you think of a woman submitting to a man?
It's give and take, man.
So can I start with this? Because I feel like I've stood in my masculine for a very long time in my life, right? So my parents kicked me out when I was 15, and I've had to more or less fend for myself since then, right? So I stand in my masculine a lot, and I'm aware of it, very aware. And what I would say about submitting to a man is, it comes back to that feeling of security.
Okay,
If you make me feel secure, I am like putty in your hands. Okay?
In fact, what is your definition of submission?
Okay. All right. So I think for me it would be like allowing the man to lead, allowing him to dictate the direction of the relationship to a certain extent, right? And I feel like a big part of submission is observation when it comes to women. So just observing what the man will do. Don't tell him what you like and don't like. Just watch him. Because then you know what you're dealing with. So to me, that's what submission is. So before we get to the stage where, for example, you know, I don't know, we have an argument and I've said something to you and you go, don't talk to me like that. We wouldn't have got to that stage because I would have been observing you from early and I would have decided I don't have respect for you. So I'm not going to take it to the level where we're now 4 months deep in a relationship,
I'm just
or 4
gonna be
years
walking
deep,
all over you,
and I'm
man.
rude.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I see.
I don't want to date a simp. So you know, I don't even like that word, but I can't. That's the word. I don't
They
want to
exist.
date a guy who's a simp. So you know, if I feel like there's simpish things about you from the beginning, I wouldn't take it further because I know that I will dominate you in a way that you won't like, and I don't want to destroy you. Like I've actually got friends, and people have gone, "Why aren't you two together?" And I've gone, "I would crush that guy."
But what do you think of the idea of submitting to a man? That's what I'm trying to say.
In what you got?
Yeah.
That's a very vague.
Okay, so for example, a lot of feminists, when feminists, I wouldn't say feminists, but a lot of women, when they hear people say, "Oh, what? That man thinks that women should submit to a man. He's a dickhead."
But I'll give you the example I tried to give last week. See, remember when I said coming to America, you know when a woman comes out the pool and she says the royal penis is clean, your highness? That when people think of submissive, sometimes they think of the most extreme version of the word submissive. All it means is that somebody has to lead. Even gay couples, somebody leads.
Yes.
There's always someone a bit more
Watching a
masculine. Lesbian relationships, there's always someone a bit more. That forgot name begins with P. But basically, there's always that kind of yin and yang, that kind of that slight difference that attracts, because the same rarely attracts. So being submissive is something that I've seen within. It's just normal to me because that's what I've seen in my family. That's all I know. But when it comes to when a man is not being his masculine, what I would say to that is that the feminine women in my family, rather than them get masculine, they would just leave. That's the difference. They wouldn't then get masculine. Right. They might do it at the start, but when they feel like when they catch themselves, they be like, no, I'm out.
For me.
They stay in their feminine. Whereas I question whether it can be. I just think that femininity is about stay. If you have a feminine, but I don't think it's a condition. What I'm looking for, I don't think it's a conditional thing.
Because you sent me this reel, and it was about what the definition of submission, was it? But a man said it. Do you remember that reel you sent me? But anyway, I thought that was a perfect definition. What submission means is basically the woman just allowing the man to love her. Well, that's what we said. Allowing, rather as opposed to putting armor like that. As in, basically, he said his describes being submitting to a man. It's basically allowing the man to love you, and
that's fake.
Let him take control.
He could tie her like that. He could tie her to the fridge and force him to look like, I'm gonna feed you here and I'm gonna buy you everything, but you're tired. I'm gonna love you so much until I'm like petting you.
I feel like submission really stays true to kind of what you guys have been talking about, which sounds like a definition of the man leading, a woman following, a man doing, a woman being. And I feel like a man sets the tone. So in itself, that's kind of ironic because there are certain men that I will submit to willingly, happily, just love it for me.
But it's not a dictatorship.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's other men that naturally, again, this is a natural thing. This is like my spirit. So this is not me sitting somewhere saying I'm going to be dominant, I'm going to be submissive. There will be a man that maybe doesn't pay for dates, a man that doesn't show me that he cares for me in a way where he's looking out for me, he's protecting me, but then he'll want me to be the submissive little petal in the world.
That's why
it would never happen.
That's why I pay for dates.
Yeah,
it keeps you in your. I do things to help the woman keep in her feminine.
Yes, and these are like little things that happen, and your spirit will understand it before you do. So again, a man approaching me, hello, like what's your name? Approaching me, talk to me nice, okay? Talk to me in your masculine energy.
These are some of the old school things that I think have dropped out along the way.
Yeah, exactly. Courtship.
They don't know about courtship anymore. No. There's been many people.
It's been misplaced with all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah,
it's that what's the word? And it's that true desire to like go after.
Yes, chivalry maybe.
And
a little bit.
As I've gotten older, you'll know. Hopefully, everyone does this. As you get older as men, you probably notice that the amount of girls you date. See, if you're not in long relationships, but you notice like whenever you're in dating, you'll date less as you get older because you just get that much pickier.
Yeah, you know what you're looking for.
You start saying no, then you do start saying no.
Yeah.
Fuck no. Yeah. Like as a man, like I started coming like Rob saying no these days. No.
Yeah. And I think
maybe, but like you know what I mean. But the no is a lot stronger than the yes, and I think
that's man's intuition, and I think submission is woman's intuition. We know if we're with somebody that makes us feel safe, that makes us feel secure. We know it off the bat. Yeah. Even before he's paid for the date, I will know if this guy's gonna pay for the date.
And then there's things that can kick you back into your masculine energy, and then it's kind of hard to come out of that. And I think also like people don't really understand what masculine energy truly is, because for example, like off the bat, if I just say initiating sex, who initiates sex, men might be like, yes, us, because king of the jungle, but it's actually not. A true masculine man knows that it's not you that initiates intimacy, it's a woman. I'm gonna let you know that I'm ready for that, and you're gonna go off of that. However, it's still you in your masculine energy. You have steered that ship.
That's where men have to submit.
Yes.
That's our like, not even like if have to submit.
But then a lot of men want to stay in their idea of masculinity and control that and control when that happens. So if they feel like they're not controlling when we get to that, I've taken you out on 4 dates, I've not been invited back to the house, what's going on? Like they start to feel like they're losing control. But in certain elements you will not have control over that. Like it's like typically the home, in terms of running the home, keeping it as a home and not a house, that is the woman. Do you get what I mean? But then if there's certain things that a man starts to do, you'll notice it in your lady. Like if you're not making her feel safe, you'll feel it, because there are certain things, not even that she'll stop doing it with joy. Because at the end of the day, women are caretakers, we are nurturers, we do that happily for the man that we're in love with, and that makes us feel safe and secure.
It's that maternal
Exactly.
essence, isn't it?
Exactly. And I feel like, again, a lot of that is being lost because a lot of men feel entitled to that, and a lot of women feel entitled to certain things as well. Like nobody wants to genuinely give and take equally and know that that comes naturally. Because I've even found that a lot of people are like, oh, okay, like I've done this, this and this for you.
Yeah.
You've only done this. So where's the this, this and this?
But
Because
that's
it needs
also
to be
a big
equal.
issue as well, because relationships can't be equal.
Not all the time,
You know,
no.
I mean, fundamentally, like, especially, I think we're talking a lot about long-term relationships here.
How
We're talking a lot
can't
about
be equal? What?
taking
No.
things. Let me.
At different times.
We're talking a lot about taking things to like a deep level of connection, and we're talking about love, right? And I think that to get to a deep level of connection, again, that comes with time. But I think more than that, like your intention's different. So I think when a man intends to get front from you, after the 4th date, he is thinking TikTok, you know. But if a guy's intending to understand you so that he can love you in the best way possible, he doesn't care if it's the 4th or the 6th
But you
or
can't
the 10th
expect that
day
from a guy.
that he's
You
getting
can't
sex
expect
with.
that from a guy. So he has to grow into that.
I understand
you
that.
can't like, yeah, that's.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But then that's where we come back to what I said earlier about the man being an adult. Because if you're dealing with an adult, then he knows that, oh, okay, I may have to wait a little bit of time. I may have to get to know her
His
a little bit
expectations
more.
and his tolerance is going to be a bit more like
Exactly.
reasonable and adjusted.
You know,
Yeah,
than
no,
the guy who's
I hear
going,
that.
actually, I only came into this because I think you've got a nice bum. So when am I going to see it? You know?
When am I gonna see it? Let me see that ass.
No, but if you're going on all the dates with long Arsene Wenger jackets, like, it's going to piss him off. I'd be so upset. First
So
date,
why would you be upset? I feel like that's actually important. Why would you be
Why would I be
upset about that?
Because a woman, that's something I find preferential in a woman. Genuinely, like figure, not necessarily a big bum. Cool, big bum, small bum, but I like shape.
So you want to see it?
I'd like to know it's there.
No, men want to see. Let's be real. Men want to see
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the jump.
yeah.
We're visual. We
Yeah,
wanna
like,
see that
I'm
shit.
not exactly.
But-
I'm not trying to stare at it,
But
I'd love to know it's there.
It's
when
nice,
it's
nice to
nice
see,
it's
it's
there when the
appealing.
time's right.
Yeah.
Green light.
But there's levels of thirstiness that come from men. That's
Yeah,
the difference.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I know generally, maybe I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever waited more further 4 dates or a month or nothing like that in life
What?
to get.
And that's probably
Shall I
because
tell you
of your
why?
I don't
energy.
just.
Shall I tell you why?
That's what you think. I don't think you're
Wait.
saying that in a cocky way.
No,
I
I'm just
don't
having
think
a
you're
conversation.
saying-
Yeah.
exactly.
Wait, what's the longest?
I've never waited more than 3 weeks, I think. But I'm
What,
not-
to sleep with her?
Yeah, but let me be honest. It's not because
Ever?
no.
Okay, what?
So we're
Where you finding them?
Huh? No. Here's what I'm saying. This goes back to what I'm saying. I want to make it clear. It's not that's not even what's on my mind. It's a natural thing from both of us.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
I want to make that sure as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's not me trying to force the issue because I'm not thirsty.
No.
But what it is, it goes back to what I was saying. I only tend to date girls that have a high interest. Maybe I can raise it if we're colleagues or something like that.
Do you know
But-
what? If it's a mutual vibe, then I can see why that synergy kind of like happens
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
I'll give you an example.
Catalytic
I could
speeds up.
like 10 girls in the gym where I work. The 2 that showing me interest, that are gazing at me, they're the ones I'll probably talk to. The high
Yeah.
interest is already there.
Yeah.
So, but me chasing the other 10, I might be able to raise it. But these 2 there, okay, she's seen something, we got talking, it's organic.
Reciprocity.
It's a
And
natural. Oh, I was gonna say that.
and we both got there's a high interest there, so it's just a matter of time. It's just naturally gonna flow that way. You know what I mean?
Let me go on.
Go on, baby.
Okay, I was gonna say, so like, if the girl said that she's okay, would you ever take a girl on a date if she says she's a celibate, but she ticks all the other boxes?
Virgin or celibate?
Just celibate.
So she just
Yeah.
on a little ball.
Nah.
That's
No.
I was
At some point, I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna want.
No, but the thing is, but her being celibacy, as in like, is more like being celibate is more like she's waiting for, not for marriage, but just making sure that
you're the right
one
You're
before,
not trying to give to anybody like that.
Yeah. So basically, probably making you wait like 90 days or not that long.
Listen, I'll be honest here. If I like you, let's just do this in black and white. If I like you, I'm willing to wait up to.
Get that time, you know.
I'm being black and white about this. I'm being so straight. I'm willing to wait. Let's just say I started talking to you January 1st. Listen, by 420, we need to.
By April.
Yeah, by April, May.
So that's 4 months.
Yeah,
but are you talking, just for argument's sake, are you talking 4 months where you're talking every day, or you're dating once a week, or are you talking 4 months where you're dating every 2 weeks, or you're dating once a month?
Splitting hairs. All right, like.
But you ain't getting pussy nowhere else.
No.
Rate of connection. I want to understand how close.
Like, okay,
is the thing
4
that
months.
you're
That
waiting
4
for?
months here is like, you know, when you liked someone back in the day and you had 5-day pass. You remember how you used to rinse it? That's like. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Morning,
so you're talking along.
morning,
Yeah.
night.
Cool.
You fell asleep on
You're
the phone last
texting.
night.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Nah,
Yeah.
I respect it, but I'll bid her a farewell straight.
No. But like, if I like you, I have to like.
I respect
really,
it. I
that's
respect
like.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't?
Probably not.
Okay.
And that's why you have to be upfront about, because there are some men that will pretend they're okay with that. There are some people that would conceal that. And I think, again, if we're talking about like natural animal instinct and all of that stuff, the reason why I was talking about maybe you haven't had to wait that long is because, like, again, a lot of it is about the connection that you both have, you both being on the same page, and how safe
It wasn't
you
me
feel.
chasing, trying.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting there with my boys going, you know what, it might be.
I need to.
Never been that guy.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, and this is
I'm
like,
just
you know,
relaxed
this is
and
me
living my
getting
life.
like, I don't know if you want to call it personal or whatever, but I know that if I was dating a guy with your physique, I might not want to wait more than 3 weeks. Do you get what I'm saying? And not necessarily because I was that deeply connected to you, just because I want to see your body. Like,
Yeah, just because you wanted that, yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So, and I'm not saying that you were used and abused or anything, but I'm just saying like, like, if I knew that he's got abs for days, I want to see them abs in action.
You can't deny desire.
I feel like it's that thing we were talking about before, which is someone doesn't want something and then you want it more. I have been with like a guy we're chilling at mine and he's not made not one move, and I'm like, okay.
That might have been a
I'm like,
teenager, you know?
what's going on? And I'm quite bold, so I was like, you take a long time to make a move, and he's like, I like to take my time. That's driving me crazy now because I'm like,
he's an idiot. If you say that, he's supposed to respond there and then.
No, but do you know what? That made me a little bit more hot, because I think also what a lot of people do is like sometimes when they see a girl that looks a certain way, they're like, I assume she has guys that are literally like, I need that. So they go the opposite way, which is actually game. Which is very like, I'm gonna be chill, I'm gonna be relaxed, because that's probably gonna turn me on more than the guy that is literally thirsty and like, I need to come to your house, I need to cook for you, wanna come to mine? Like that's definitely gonna be a turn off. And I think again, naturally, like I have had situations where it's like, okay, I wanna wait, not because I'm like punishing you or using it as a means to control the relationship, but I wanna get to know you properly. I don't want us to become like, you know, completely hypnotized by how tight this thing is or how wet this thing is, because I'm gonna need you to like just relax yourself before you get confused and think you like me more than you actually do, right? But I think when you do talk to someone every day, you're connecting, you're vibing, you might have the intention to not have sex, but then when you get into a close space with that person, naturally you feel so safe with them, you have such a connection with them that it is probably, it might not, but in my case it has just happened in that moment, and then I'll be okay with it because we didn't rush it. It was a natural thing that happened for both of us, and you were respectful of the boundary that I had set in place originally when we first started speaking.
Do you know what's mad about what you said?
Yes.
So like recently I've learned about myself I fully don't want to be that close to you. Like I fully don't want to text you every day. I don't want to speak to you every day, and I never thought that I would be like that. I never, like the way I am, I always thought it would be like, like fire, burning. Oh yeah, great, fireworks, you know. But I've realized now that actually, I don't want to be sick of you. And if I'm going to be in a long-term relationship with you,
the only way to prevent that is managing that space and
manage that space. And I mean, for
start
the rest
slow
of your
and
life,
then speed into
right.
it.
And even when you get to that stage, like I said to my housemate the other day, she's like, I basically want to be best friends with my man. I said, that's exactly what I don't want.
No, but you should, but you don't.
I think there's different ways. Yeah.
So I said to her, we spend like 80% of our lives at work, just generally people, yeah? We spend 80% of our lives doing whatever we're doing, right? 20% of our lives in the home, right? And I said to her, me and you live together. I said, I go to work every day, I come home, I do 2 hours at the gym, and then I come home, eat my dinner, and I'm in bed. I said, effectively, if I'm with a man, unless we have children, I want our lives to be independent. So we will literally get into bed maybe about 9:30. How was your day? Yeah, it was good. Maybe we spend about half an hour, 1 hour talking. The time that me and you spend together, it comes back to what you were saying about two people consciously wanting to do things together. It has to be effort. It has to be me and you sitting down going, okay, let's plan a date that we're going to do this. Let's book work off together and do things together. But if it's not effort, if it's something like I come home and now I'm now spending from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. with you, at some point I'm going to be like, your feet stink. I'm going to be like, I've had enough of the way you chew. I'm going to be irritated by you. So unless I have children with you, which I think is a real test of character, like anyone who does it, respect. Unless I have children with you, I have no reason to be up in your grill like that. Like, I don't want that from you. But I have my friends, I have my family, I have a lot of people that I get love from. It's not just you. And the minute that I make you my world, what happens when you're gone? And that comes back to what you were saying about not needing people. What happens when I've made you my world and you're gone? I don't want to make you my world. But let's keep it separate until we're ready to keep it together.
Do you know what? I was literally, my honest question was going to be, would you say that is from being single for so long or not? As a result.
I think it is, but I think I've also learned about myself that with me personally, familiarity breeds contempt, and this is even with my friends. If I spend too much time with my friends, I get irritated.
But that's with your family. Even there is no barrier.
That's why for me, for the relationship to be healthy, and I know there will come a time where closeness will happen, but I'm just talking about the beginning stages. I really want that freedom, and I want that space to breathe. That's really important to me.
This comes down to compatibility. I could tell you 2 couples that have been together for 20 years. So couple number 1, he met her in South Africa and he was just on holiday. She came back, they lived together, worked together. He was a manager, so he got her a job. And they basically work, they even work together now, even to this day, 20 years, so they see each other all the time. Couple number 2, they've been together 20 years. They both own their own house. They live separate, but they co-parent. But they stay at each other's house. So you got 2 opposite sides of the spectrum.
Well, second couple's together.
They're
together, but they stay in their own. They don't live together. But 2 opposite sides of the spectrum, but it works for them, and that's the thing. So
it really is about what for you. But I'm just saying, being single for so long has made me understand that a lot of my needs and wants, or perceived needs and wants, especially in my 20s, I'm 36 now, they were perceived needs and wants. That's what they were. I was watching too much Beauty and the Beast and too much Aladdin, and I was thinking to myself, this is what a relationship should look like. And now that I'm at an age where actually I'm not consumed by the media, and I'm not consumed by, romantic fairy tales, now I understand that actually love can look completely different.
I think that's really beautiful, because I think it's really easy to see what you've grown up watching and then just assume that you're supposed to model that exact situation or relationship or connection for your own life. I think the reason why I was going to ask, do you think that comes from being single for so long, is because I've been single since 2017, so that first initial we're getting serious genuinely is a bit scary for me. But not only that, it's more that I've molded my life in a single way. So the things that I do and how my life looks, it doesn't involve a partner. It doesn't involve someone that's so close to me that they're integrated into my everyday life. So when it comes to knock, I want to be around you, I want to do this, it's kind of people find this offensive. And even my friends, it's they're like, when can I see you? And I start looking at my calendar, and it's almost some people find that offensive, because it's you're squeezing me into your schedule. It's that's because my schedule is set. So even when I'm dating, it's next weekend, and it feels like you're not actually actively trying to put me into your life, but that's just how my life is set up. And I do want to try, I want to be around my person, I want to be there, but I think that's where grace comes into it. I feel like whoever you're connecting with, if you have that open conversation with them, they would understand how you want a relationship to look like, and they'd be patient with you, because that may change. I'm not saying that it will, but it may change, demonstrate, well, it depends on how graceful they are with you, how patient they are with you. And I think that is also an example of how much they want to be with you, because if they do want to be with you, they will be patient, they will be understanding, and they will show you that grace. So
that's why one of my secondary traits is I like forthcoming communication. But you not straight away off the gate, but you can communicate. Look, I've been so busy. I've got this going on. Don't ever think X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? These little things are little nuggets that help. But communication is the main thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, so we're going to wrap it up here. I think we've done over an hour and a half. Any final words?
I mean, I'd say, I feel like the whole world should be stoics. If you don't know what stoicism is, go and find out about stoicism. Read up about Marcus Aurelius and read that book, Stoicism for the Modern Age. It's black book, white writing or blue writing. Sickest book out. It just, my words are, stoicism helps people find comfortability in whatever cards you've been dealt in life. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what everyone needs to understand and allow the sob story thing, because the great ones all come from shit. And you know, I feel like the more you have up your ass, metaphorically speaking, like the more you should be motivated to get it out of your ass. Do you get what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, stoicism just helps you work with the cards you've been dealt and understanding. You're born blind. Now you got to work with it.
Yeah.
It's not anyone's fault. It's just it's that sense of acceptance, controlling what you can control, and what you can't. I can't control the weather, but I can move in an umbrella. I feel like people need to.
And the world don't offer you understanding.
The world don't. Yeah. There's no handouts and there's no manual. Just whatever you can physically control, do that, and then your life will be better because you're now in control. Instead of trying to work on what you can't. Oh, she doesn't love me. Well, then you'll never be able to control that. But what you can do is get some muscles, get some abs. You know what I mean? And expedite that process. Turn 3 months into 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, but it's that, honestly. So yeah, take control.
Okay.
And
I would just say, like, it's really important to get to know yourself in a real way, and not in just, I read this on social media and I read this in a book. Like, really take time to get to know yourself and understand yourself and understand duality. You can have masculine energy and feminine energy, and then just be your most authentic self. I genuinely believe that you will attract who you're supposed to attract. You will live your life in the best way that is for you, and hopefully you'll meet someone that shares like your same views, has the same energy as you, and then you guys can rock out and do life together.
Claire?
I'm just going to end with something my dad says. My dad says, every man for himself and God for us all. So I think that ultimately,
Amen.
You need to know yourself, coming back to what Kissy said, and do what works for you. If you know that something doesn't sit right with your soul, move on.
Dec?
Yeah, I find for me, if you're not happy with something, make the changes relevant for yourself. So I'm a big believer in self-development. Big believer in that. Piggybacking on what you just said.
yeah, bro, you control it.
Yeah.
You can control it. You can literally take control.
Even when I was doing my dating coaching, I was letting the guys hold accountability. We talk about the women after. Let's talk about you. Just find out where you are, because I find people who blame the world are just projecting their energy. You can't have women saying men are trash. You can't have men saying women are trash. Because if you said that about another race, you look stupid. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as everything. You know what I mean? Just the people that you deal with. That when I texted you the other day and I said, you know, it's people say, oh yeah, you attract who you are. No, you attract all sorts of people. Who you entertain. Who you entertain is your business. And that's just, So a lot of the trauma we go through in life. I remember when I was young, my little Sainsbury's job when I was young, I'd blow off the whole paycheck on Machino and just have enough on my bus pass. I can't blame the world, I have to blame myself and take accountability. And I can't, but I was there, I'm broke, you know, but I got a Machino type, you get me? So it's like, you know, a lot of the problems we bring on ourselves, a lot of our problems. If you really think about all the things that we've done, 80% we bring on ourselves. And I just want guys to be, well, people in general, to be accountable for their problems and say, okay, what am I going to do about it to fix it?
So for me, I just want to say, whether it's women calling the men trash or being feminine, or whether it's the man calling the women really masculine, all of that kind of stuff, I just find it's all like there's separation.
Of course, it's divided.
Why? Yeah, it's divided. Why can't we just all come from a place of love? Men should celebrate men and women. Women should celebrate men and women. That's it. And just unite. That's why I want to unite the gender. I think everyone should want everyone to win, regardless. And talking about the book, I think men and women should read the book called The Way of the Superior Man.
Yeah, done it.
That is like a game changer, like for men and women. Although that book is written for men.
The Rational Man.
Yeah. But women, if you read it, it will actually help you to understand more about the man and actually what you want, what you're going to look for in a man. So, but yeah. That's it. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for thank you so much for listening and watching. And until next time, love you.